The numbers jumped out at me like accusatory fingers from my laptop screen. $300,000. That's how much money had vanished from the Research Foundation's accounts over the past year. I rubbed my tired eyes, double-checking the spreadsheet I'd been analyzing for the past 6 hours. The trail led straight to my mother. My name is Reagan, and I've spent my entire life being the responsible one, the quiet one, the one who follows the rules. While my stepsister Annabelle dazzled at charity galas and social events, I buried myself in research papers and data analysis. It wasn't that I minded. I loved my work. But tonight, everything changed. Still here? Jasper's voice made me jump. He leaned against my office doorframe, his coffee mug steaming in the dim light. It's almost midnight, Reagan. Whatever you're working on can wait until morning. I shook my head, my fingers trembling as I turned the laptop toward him. Look at this. The Foundation's quarterly reports don't match the bank statements. Someone's been siphoning money from the research grants. Jasper set his coffee down and leaned over my shoulder, his brow furrowing as he scanned the numbers. Are you sure about this? The signatures, the approval stamps, they all lead back to the Foundation's board treasurer. My voice cracked. My mother. The same mother who'd spent 20 years reminding me I wasn't as naturally gifted as Annabelle. The same woman who'd turned every one of my academic achievements into a conversation about my stepsister's latest modeling campaign or charity event. My phone buzzed, speaking of the devil. A text from Annabelle. Mom's going crazy planning next month's gala. Says you have to come this time. No excuses. Jasper squeezed my shoulder. What are you going to do? I closed my laptop, my decision crystallizing. I'm going to that gala, but not for the reasons they think. The next morning, I arrived at the Foundation's offices earlier than usual. My mother's assistant, Sarah, was already at her desk, organizing the day's schedule. Reagan, what brings you to the administrative floor? Sarah's smile was genuine. She'd always been kind to me. Just needed to drop off some research proposals, I lied smoothly. Is my mother in? She's meeting with Trevor, Annabelle's fiancé. Something about the gala sponsorships. Perfect. I slipped into my mother's empty office, my heart pounding as I connected my USB drive to her computer. The encryption software I'd installed would give me remote access to her files. What exactly are you looking for? Jasper asked later that afternoon, as we combed through the downloaded data. Proof, transactions, anything that shows... I stopped, staring at a new email thread. Here, look at this correspondence with Trevor's investment firm. They're using the gala to launder money through fake charitable donations. Jasper whistled low. Your mother and future brother-in-law are quite the team. While Annabelle plays the perfect socialite daughter, completely unaware she's being used as their cover. The bitterness in my voice surprised even me. My phone rang. My mother this time. I answered, keeping my voice steady. Darling, I need you at the dress fitting tomorrow. Annabelle's chosen the most stunning gown for the gala, and we simply must find you something... appropriate. I could hear the implied criticism, appropriate meaning understated, forgettable, nothing that would overshadow her golden child. Of course, Mother. I wouldn't miss it. After hanging up, I turned to Jasper. I've spent my whole life being the good daughter, the quiet one, the one who never caused trouble. But they crossed a line. This money was meant for medical research, for helping people. What's your plan? I pulled up the gala guest list on my screen. Board members, donors, press. The perfect audience, don't you think? Mother always taught us that presentation is everything. Jasper's eyes widened as he realized what I was suggesting. Reagan, this could destroy your family. I thought about the patients waiting for the research grants that never came, about the scientists whose projects were shelved because the funding mysteriously dried up. I thought about years of being made to feel less than, of watching my mother's casual corruption hiding behind Annabelle's perfect smile. No, I said, my voice stronger than I'd ever heard it. This will free my family. They just don't know it yet. I started gathering the evidence into a presentation, my hands steady for the first time in days. The gala was in 3 weeks, just enough time to ensure every detail was perfect. Mother always said I had a talent for detailed analysis. Time to show her just how right she was. These donation records don't make any sense, Jasper said, spreading printouts across my desk. Look at this one. $500,000 from a company that doesn't even exist. I leaned closer, scanning the documents. The past week had been a blur of late nights and coffee-fueled investigation sessions. Shell companies. They're all shell companies, aren't they? Your mother's clever. I'll give her that. Jasper pulled up another spreadsheet. But she made one mistake. She got greedy. A knock at my office door made us both jump. Annabelle stood there, looking perfectly put together as always in her designer outfit. Surprise! I brought lunch. I scrambled to close the laptop while Jasper casually swept the papers into a folder. Annabelle set down a paper bag from my favorite deli, her expression curious. Am I interrupting something? You two look like teenagers caught making out behind the bleachers. Just boring research stuff, I said quickly. What brings you here? Can't a sister bring lunch without an ulterior motive? She perched on the edge of my desk, her perfectly manicured fingers drumming against the wood. Although, Mother's driving me crazy with this gala planning. I could use a break. Jasper cleared his throat. I should get back to my lab. After he left, Annabelle's carefully maintained smile faltered. Trevor's been acting weird lately. Secretive. Always on the phone with Mother. My heart skipped a beat. Oh? I mean, I know they're working on gala stuff, but... She shrugged, trying to look nonchalant. Sometimes I feel like I'm just a prop in their perfect little world. For the first time, I really looked at my stepsister. Behind the flawless makeup and practiced smile, I saw something familiar, the same trapped feeling I'd been fighting all these years. Annabelle, I started, but my phone buzzed. A text from Sarah. Your mother's looking for the Foundation's audit reports. Says you have them? I should go. Annabelle stood up. Photo shoot for the gala invitations. Mother insists on capturing the perfect family moment. She rolled her eyes. After she left, I called Jasper. We need to move faster. Mother's looking for the audit reports. Already on it. Meet me at the coffee house in 20 minutes. The cafe was busy enough to mask our conversation. Jasper slid a USB drive across the table. I traced the shell companies. They all lead back to Trevor's investment firm. But here's where it gets interesting. The money's being routed through offshore accounts in the Cayman Islands. Classic. I took a sip of my Americano. But why? Mother's salary is more than generous. That's not all. Jasper lowered his voice. I found emails between your mother and Trevor discussing something called Project Legacy. They're planning to announce it at the gala. My phone lit up with a text from Mother. Darling, don't forget. Dress fitting tomorrow at 10. And please do something with your hair this time. I ignored it. What's Project Legacy? From what I can piece together, they're planning to restructure the foundation, move all research funding to approved projects only, meaning projects that funnel money back to them. The realization hit me like a punch to the gut. They're not just stealing from existing grants, they're setting up a permanent pipeline. Using Annabelle's public image as cover, Jasper added. The perfect charitable face for their scheme. I thought about Annabelle's earlier words, about feeling like a prop. She has no idea, does she? Speaking of no idea, Jasper nodded toward the cafe entrance. Trevor had just walked in with my mother. We ducked behind our menus, but they were too absorbed in their conversation to notice us. They sat at a table near enough that snippets of their discussion drifted over. The announcement will be perfect, my mother was saying. Annabelle on stage, presenting our vision for the Foundation's future. And the old guard won't know what hit them, Trevor replied with a smirk. I felt sick. They were going to use Annabelle to announce their own corrupt scheme, making her an unwitting accomplice. Back in my office, I pulled up the gala preparations folder on my laptop. Mother had already scripted everything, the speeches, the photo ops, even the exact moment Annabelle would announce Project Legacy. We can't let this happen, I told Jasper over the phone that evening. They're not just stealing money anymore. They're trying to legitimize their corruption. What's our next move? I stared at the gala invitation on my desk, featuring a photo of Annabelle's smiling face. We need to talk to Sarah. She handles all the Foundation's correspondence. She must have seen something. That's risky. She's your mother's right hand. True. I picked up the invitation. But Sarah's always had a soft spot for me. And more importantly, she believes in what the foundation is supposed to stand for. Be careful, Reagan. The closer we get to the gala, the more dangerous this becomes. I thought about Annabelle, about all the researchers counting on these grants, about years of watching my mother's casual corruption destroy everything she touched. Some things are worth the risk. Sarah's hands shook as she handed me the stack of documents. I always knew something wasn't right, but this... She glanced nervously at my mother's empty office across the hall. If she finds out I showed you these... She won't, I assured her, quickly photographing each page with my phone. You're doing the right thing. The foundation board meeting minutes, Sarah whispered. Your mother's been doctoring them for months. The real versions are very different from what she's been presenting. A door slammed somewhere down the hall. Sarah jumped, snatching the papers back. Go, now. I slipped out just as Trevor's voice echoed through the corridor. Paula, we need to discuss the announcement. I ducked into the stairwell, pressing myself against the wall as their voices drifted down. Everything's arranged, my mother said. Once Project Legacy is announced, the board won't have a choice. The press will be there, the major donors. And Annabelle? She'll do exactly what she's told. She always does. Their footsteps faded. I waited until the coast was clear, then rushed to Jasper's lab. You look like you've seen a ghost, he said, pulling me inside. Better. I connected my phone to his computer. Sarah came through. Look at these meeting minutes. Mother's been systematically misleading the board about where the money's going. Jasper scrolled through the photos. This is huge, Reagan. With this evidence, the lab door burst open. Annabelle stood there, mascara streaking her cheeks. I need to talk to you. Jasper and I exchanged panicked looks. How much had she heard? Trevor's cheating on me, she blurted out. Not what I was expecting. What? How do you know? I found messages on his phone, but it's worse than that. She collapsed into a chair. He's been meeting with Mother almost every day, planning something big. Something about the foundation. I caught Jasper's eye. He nodded slightly. Annabelle, I said carefully. What do you know about Project Legacy? Her perfectly plucked eyebrows drew together. The new charitable initiative? Mother says I'm announcing it at the gala. Some kind of restructuring to make the foundation more efficient. She paused. Why? Because it's a lie. The words tumbled out before I could stop them. The whole thing is a front for embezzlement. Mother and Trevor have been stealing from research grants, and they're planning to use you to make it all look legitimate. Annabelle stared at me, then laughed shakily. That's ridiculous. Mother would never... she's always been about appearances, but... Look. I pulled up the evidence on Jasper's computer. These are the real numbers, the shell companies, the offshore accounts. As Annabelle read, her face went from disbelief to horror to anger. All those times they were planning the gala together, they were planning this? They're going to have you announce it, Jasper said gently, make you the face of their scheme. Annabelle stood up abruptly, pacing the lab. I always knew Mother was controlling, but this? Using me to steal from sick people? She whirled to face me. Why didn't you tell me sooner? Would you have believed me? I asked quietly. Over Mother? She stopped pacing. No, probably not. A bitter laugh escaped her. God, I've been so stupid. The perfect daughter doing exactly what she's told. My phone buzzed, a text from Sarah. Your mother's looking for the original meeting minutes. She knows something's wrong. We need to move fast, I told them. Mother suspects something's up. What are you planning to do? Annabelle asked. Expose everything, at the gala. You'll destroy her. She destroyed herself. I hesitated. But I can't do it alone. I need your help. Annabelle was quiet for a long moment, twisting her engagement ring around her finger. Finally, she pulled it off and set it on Jasper's desk with a decisive click. Count me in. Her voice was steel. Nobody uses me as a prop in their corruption scheme. Not even Mother. Jasper cleared his throat. Not to interrupt this touching sister moment, but we have another problem. Look at this email I just found. We crowded around his computer. Mother had sent instructions to the Foundation's IT department to wipe certain servers, scheduled for the day before the gala. She's covering her tracks, I said. Then we better make sure we have everything we need before she does. Annabelle pulled out her phone. I know Mother's passwords, all of them. She made me memorize them in case of emergencies. For the first time since this began, I felt real hope. Together we might actually pull this off. The gala's in 2 weeks, Jasper reminded us. Annabelle's smile was fierce. Perfect. Just enough time to plan our own little announcement. Smile, darling. You look like you're at a funeral. Mother adjusted my dress for the 10th time as the boutique's seamstress pinned the hem. The gala is a celebration, not a wake, if she only knew. I forced a smile, catching Annabelle's eye in the mirror. My stepsister was perched on a velvet settee, pretending to scroll through her phone while actually recording every word. The press will be there, Mother continued, fussing with my hair. The governor, key donors, everything must be perfect. She turned to Annabelle. Darling, have you memorized your speech for the Project Legacy announcement? Every word, Mother. Annabelle's voice was honey-sweet, though I was thinking of adding my own personal touch. Mother's smile tightened. Stick to the script, dear. This isn't the time for improvisation. The seamstress finished her work, and Mother swept out to take a call, leaving Annabelle and me alone in the fitting room. Did you get that? I whispered. Annabelle played back the recording. Mother's voice rang clear. The governor's office has already approved the restructuring. Once the announcement is made, it's a done deal. Another piece of evidence. I stepped down from the platform, careful of the pins. How are things with Trevor? He's suspicious, keeps asking if I've talked to you lately. She lowered her voice. Last night, I found him going through my laptop. Did he find anything? Please. She rolled her eyes. I learned from the best. Mother taught me everything about keeping secrets. Her smile turned bitter. Ironic, isn't it? The boutique door chimed. Jasper walked in, pretending to be lost. Sir, this is a private fitting, the saleswoman began. Oh, Jasper, Annabelle called out. Right on time to help with color choices. Mother returned just then, her face darkening at the sight of him. What is he doing here? I invited him, Annabelle said smoothly. We need a man's opinion, don't we? And since Trevor's so busy with foundation work? Mother's expression shifted from annoyance to satisfaction. Of course, dear, though perhaps someone more qualified. Actually, Jasper interrupted, I came to discuss the latest grant applications with Reagan. Time-sensitive matters. Work, 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 Mother sighed. Reagan, dear, you really must learn to separate your professional and personal life. The gala is in 10 days, I finished. I know, Mother. Everything will be perfect. After Mother left to berate the saleswoman about something, Jasper pulled out his phone. Sarah came through again. Look what she found in the Foundation's archived emails. I looked at the screen, my breath catching. There it was, the original proposal for Project Legacy, dated 2 years ago. But instead of a charitable initiative, it outlined a complex scheme to redirect research funds through private investments. Mother's been planning this for years, Annabelle whispered, reading over my shoulder. There's more, Jasper said. Trevor's firm isn't just managing the money, they're creating fake research projects to justify the funding transfers. The boutique door chimed again. Trevor walked in. Hide the phone, I hissed. Annabelle immediately draped herself on Trevor's arm, playing the adoring fiancé. Darling, what a surprise. We were just discussing the gala. Were you? Trevor's eyes flickered between us. With him? He nodded toward Jasper. Fashion emergency, Jasper said dryly. Apparently, I have an eye for color. Annabelle, Trevor said, his voice tight. A word? They stepped aside, but not far enough that we couldn't hear. Your mother's worried, Trevor muttered. Says you've been distant, asking strange questions about the Foundation. I'm just trying to understand my role better, Annabelle replied, for the announcement. Stick to the script. The same words Mother had used. There's too much at stake. After they left, Jasper turned to me. They're getting nervous. Good. I checked my phone. A new message from Sarah. Your mother just called an emergency board meeting for tomorrow. Something about security concerns. "She's moving faster than we expected," Jasper said. "We need to be ready." I looked at my reflection in the fitting room mirror. The perfect daughter in the perfect dress for the perfect gala. Mother had spent years crafting this image, using both Annabelle and me as pieces in her elaborate game. "Reagan?" Jasper touched my arm. "Are you sure about this? Once we do this, there's no going back." "I'm sure." I smoothed down the dress. Mother always taught us that presentation is everything. Time to show her just how well we learned that lesson. "The board meeting tomorrow," he said. "If she's planning what I think she is, then we'll be ready." I picked up my phone to text Annabelle. "Tell Trevor you're spending the night reviewing your speech. Meet us at my place at 8. The response came immediately. "I'll bring wine. We're going to need it." The pieces were in place. Now we just had to survive the next 10 days. The board meeting was a disaster, Sarah whispered into her phone. I had her on speaker as Annabelle, Jasper, and I huddled around my kitchen table. "Your mother's convinced there's a leak. She's ordered a complete system lockdown." "Can you still access the files?" I asked, watching Jasper type frantically on his laptop. "No, but—" Sarah lowered her voice further. "I made copies, everything. I'll leave them in the usual place." After hanging up, Annabelle poured more wine into our glasses. "Mother called me 3 times today. She wants me to move the Project Legacy announcement to the beginning of the gala, instead of after dinner." "She's rushing it," Jasper said, still typing, trying to get ahead of any potential exposure. My phone buzzed. Trevor calling. I showed the screen to Annabelle. "Don't answer," she said. "He's been watching me like a hawk. Yesterday, he followed me to the grocery store." "We need to move faster." I pulled up our evidence folder. "Sarah's copies will be the final piece. Once we have those—" A knock at my door made us all freeze. Through the peephole, I saw Mother standing there, perfectly coiffed, despite the late hour. "Places, everyone," I whispered. Jasper grabbed his laptop and slipped into my bedroom, while Annabelle quickly hid the documents under my couch cushions. I opened the door. "Mother, it's almost midnight." "Can't a mother check on her daughters?" She swept in, taking in the wine glasses and Annabelle's presence with sharp eyes. "A little late for a social call, isn't it?" "Wedding jitters," Annabelle said smoothly. "I needed sister time." Mother's smile didn't reach her eyes. "How sweet. Though I hope these sisterly bonding sessions aren't distracting you from your speech preparation." "Actually," I interjected, "I've been helping her practice. Want to hear it?" "You?" Mother's laugh was like breaking glass. "Darling, no offense, but public speaking has never been your strong suit. Remember your high school graduation? That awkward valedictorian speech?" Annabelle stood up. "Mother, stop it. Reagan's been incredibly helpful." "Has she?" Mother's gaze swept the room. "And what else has your sister been helping with?" The temperature seemed to drop 10 degrees. Before anyone could respond, a toilet flushed, Jasper's signal that he'd finished wiping his laptop's search history. Mother's eyes narrowed. "Do you have company?" "Just me." Jasper emerged, the picture of casual innocence. "Late-night research consultation. You know how it is with grant deadlines." "Indeed." Mother's voice could have frozen hell. "Reagan, darling, a word in private?" She led me to the kitchen, her manicured nails digging into my arm. "Whatever you think you're doing, stop it, now." "I don't know what you mean." "Don't play dumb. It doesn't suit you." She leaned closer. "You've always been the smart one, haven't you? Hidden away in your lab, watching, analyzing. But this time you're out of your depth." "Am I?" "The foundation is my life's work. I won't let anyone destroy that. Not even you." Her smile turned predatory. "Did you really think I wouldn't notice the server access logs? The copied files?" My heart stopped. "Mother." "I'm moving the announcement to tomorrow night." She released my arm. "A private preview event. Just key stakeholders and family. No press, no distractions." "That's not the plan," Annabelle said from the doorway. "The gala—" "Plans change, darling. Be ready at 7. Mother headed for the door, then paused. Oh, and Reagan, I've suspended your lab's funding, pending review, of course. We can't be too careful with security concerns. After she left, we all stared at each other in shocked silence. She knows, Jasper said, emerging from the bedroom. She's cutting us off at the knees. Not yet. I pulled out my phone. Sarah, change of plans. We need those files tonight. The security guards. I don't care. Mother's moving everything up. Tomorrow night. Annabelle was already grabbing her coat. I'll create a distraction at the foundation. Say I need to practice in the event space. I'll handle the tech side, Jasper added. If she's locked down the servers, there might still be a backdoor through the backup systems. My phone buzzed with a text from Trevor. Whatever you're planning, don't. Some things are bigger than family. He's right, I said, showing them the message. This is bigger than family. That's exactly why we have to do it. Annabelle grabbed her keys. Meet at the foundation in 30 minutes, back entrance. As they left, I looked at the wine glasses on my table, evidence of our conspiracy. Mother had taught us well, about appearances, about secrets, about power. But she'd forgotten one crucial lesson. The student sometimes surpasses the teacher. The foundation's preview event buzzed with nervous energy. Board members mingled with investors, their champagne glasses clinking like wind chimes before a storm. Mother held court near the podium, resplendent in midnight blue, while Trevor hovered nearby, checking his phone every 30 seconds. Stop fidgeting, Mother hissed as I passed. And for heaven's sake, fix your hair. I touched the USB drive hidden in my clutch, remembering last night's frantic operation. Sarah had come through. The files were devastating. Mother had no idea we'd managed to access them just hours before her system purge. 5 minutes until the announcement, Trevor announced, his voice carrying across the room. Everyone, please take your seats. Annabelle appeared at my elbow, looking stunning in emerald green. Ready? Sarah's in position? Broadcasting everything to the main foundation servers. She squeezed my hand. Once this starts, there's no stopping it. Ladies and gentlemen, Mother took the stage, practically glowing. Thank you all for joining us on such short notice. Tonight marks a new chapter in our foundation's history. I slipped away toward the AV booth while she spoke, my heart thundering. Jasper was already there, pretending to adjust sound levels. Cameras are live, he whispered. Every board member got an anonymous email link. They're all watching the live stream on their phones. And the backup? Running. Even if they cut the power, everything's being recorded to external servers. Mother's voice filled the room. And now, I'm thrilled to introduce my daughter, Annabelle, who will share our vision for Project Legacy. Applause erupted as Annabelle took the stage. She looked perfectly poised, exactly as Mother had trained her to be, but I saw her hands shaking as she gripped the podium. Thank you, Mother. Annabelle's voice was clear and strong. Before I begin, I'd like to share something personal. Mother's smile flickered. This wasn't in the script. All my life I've been the face of this foundation, the perfect daughter, the charitable socialite, the cover story. Annabelle paused. But tonight, I'm choosing to be something else, honest. Trevor started moving toward the stage. I nodded to Jasper, who clicked a button. The screens behind Annabelle lit up with financial records, email chains, offshore account details. Project Legacy isn't about charity, Annabelle continued as gasps filled the room. It's about greed, corruption, stealing from the sick and desperate to line private pockets. That's enough! Mother's voice cracked like a whip. Security! I stepped onto the stage beside my sister. The evidence has already been sent to the FBI, Mother, and the press. Sarah's broadcasting this live to every major news outlet. The room erupted in chaos. Board members jumped to their feet, phones recording everything. Trevor tried to reach the AV booth, but Jasper had locked the door. You ungrateful little... Mother lunged for the podium, but Annabelle stood her ground. $300,000 from the Cancer Research Fund, Annabelle read from the screen. $500,000 from pediatric studies, all funneled through Trevor's investment firm into private accounts. You have no idea what you're doing, Mother snarled. The people we answer to? Will all be investigated, I finished. Every shell company, every fake grant, every donor who helped you steal from sick children. Trevor finally reached the stage. "Paula, we need to leave. Now." But Mother wasn't finished. She grabbed the microphone. "Everything I did was for this foundation, for our family's legacy." "No," Annabelle's voice cut through the chaos. "It was for you, always for you, using me as your perfect distraction while you robbed the people we promised to help." Security guards appeared at the doors, but they weren't Mother's. Sarah had called in the real police. "Paula Horton?" An officer approached the stage. "We need you to come with us." The look Mother gave me could have melted steel. "I gave you everything, both of you. This is how you repay me?" "You gave us lessons in manipulation and lies," I said. "Consider this our final exam." As they led Mother and Trevor away, the board members crowded around us, demanding explanations. Phones kept recording, questions flew from all directions. Through it all, Annabelle held my hand, both of us standing tall. "Miss Horton?" A reporter had somehow gotten in. "What happens to the foundation now?" I looked at Annabelle, who nodded. "We start over, transparently, honestly, the way it always should have been. And Project Legacy," someone called out, "will be exactly what it claims to be," Annabelle answered. "A fresh start, a true legacy of helping others, not helping ourselves." As the chaos continued around us, Jasper appeared at my side. "You did it." "We did it," I corrected, watching Mother's perfect world crumble. "All of us." The truth was out. The storm had broken. And somehow, standing in the wreckage of our mother's empire, I felt lighter than I had in years. The police station buzzed with activity as Mother sat across from us, her designer outfit wrinkled from hours in holding. Her makeup had smeared, but her eyes remained sharp as razors. "You've made your point," she said coldly. "Now drop the charges." Annabelle laughed, a harsh, bitter sound. "Drop the charges. The FBI has already seized the Foundation's accounts. Trevor's singing like a bird to save himself. It's over, Mother." "Over?" Mother leaned forward. "Do you have any idea how many lives you've ruined? The connections you've severed? The donors?" "The donors are cooperating with the investigation," I cut in. "Turns out nobody wants to be connected to a charity fraud scandal." The detective entered, placing a thick file on the table. "Mrs. Horton, we've found additional accounts in the Cayman Islands. Care to explain?" Mother's lawyer touched her arm. "My client exercises her right to remain silent." "That's a first," Annabelle muttered. We watched as Mother was led back to her cell. Through the window, I could see reporters camped outside the station, hungry for updates on the scandal that had rocked the city's philanthropic community. "Miss Horton?" The detective addressed me. "We'll need your statement about when you first discovered the discrepancies." For the next 2 hours, I walked them through everything. The missing research funds, the shell companies, the fake grants. Annabelle added her own testimony about Trevor's involvement and the planned announcement. "Your mother's looking at serious time," the detective said finally. "Both of them are. The amount of money involved. We're talking federal charges." Jasper was waiting outside the interview room. "The board's called an emergency meeting. They want you both there." "Now?" Annabelle checked her phone. "It's almost midnight. Damage control doesn't sleep." The Foundation's offices were eerily quiet as we rode the elevator to the boardroom. Sarah met us at the door, her eyes red from crying. "They've been in there for hours," she whispered, "trying to save what's left." Inside, the board members looked shell-shocked. The chairman, an elderly man who'd known our father, spoke first. "Ladies, please sit down." He shuffled some papers. "We've spent the evening reviewing the extent of the situation. The Foundation's reputation is salvageable," I interrupted, "if we act fast and with complete transparency." "The press is calling it the legacy scandal," another board member said. "Our donors are fleeing." Annabelle straightened in her chair. "Then let me talk to them. I've been the face of this foundation for years. Let me tell them the truth, that we discovered the corruption and chose to expose it ourselves. It's not that simple. Actually, it is." I pulled out my laptop. "I've drafted a complete restructuring plan, new oversight measures, transparent accounting, direct links between donors and the research they fund." The board members exchanged looks. "We need new leadership." the chairman said slowly. Someone who understands both the scientific and public aspects of our mission. I felt Annabelle squeeze my hand under the table. We'd like to offer you both positions, he continued. Reagan as Executive Director of Research, Annabelle as Director of Public Relations and Donor Relations. Together? Annabelle asked. Together. Your actions, while shocking, showed integrity, something this foundation desperately needs to rebuild. As we left the building hours later, the sky was starting to lighten. Reporters swarmed us immediately. Miss Horton, how does it feel to expose your own mother's corruption? What's next for the foundation? Annabelle stepped forward, every inch the polished spokesperson. The foundation is entering a new era of transparency and genuine charitable work. My sister and I— Look! Someone shouted. Through the media crowd, we saw Trevor being led out of the federal building in handcuffs. His expensive suit was rumpled, his face ashen. Miss Sanderson, do you have any comment about your ex-fiancé's arrest? Annabelle's composure cracked slightly. I stepped up beside her. The Foundation's future isn't about the past, I said firmly. It's about the researchers working to save lives, the patients waiting for breakthroughs, and the donors who genuinely want to help. That's the only story that matters now. Jasper appeared with his car, offering escape from the media frenzy. As we drove away, Annabelle finally broke down. I loved him, she whispered, or thought I did. How did we not see who they really were? We saw what they wanted us to see, I replied, just like everyone else. The board meeting tomorrow. Today, Jasper corrected, glancing at the dawn breaking over the city. Today, Annabelle agreed. We start fixing everything they broke. I thought about Mother sitting in her cell, still believing she was right. About all the years she'd spent teaching us to maintain appearances while hiding ugly truths. We're not fixing their foundation, I said. We're building our own, the right way this time. The sun rose higher, painting the sky in shades of promise. Somewhere in the city, Mother's empire was crumbling. But from its ashes, something honest could finally grow. Guilty on all counts, the judge's voice echoed through the courtroom. Mother stood perfectly straight, her designer suit a stark contrast to the handcuffs at her wrists. She didn't look at us as they led her away. Trevor had already taken his plea deal, trading information for a lighter sentence. But Mother had insisted on fighting, convinced until the end that she could talk her way out of anything. Outside the courthouse, reporters swarmed us again. This time I was ready. The verdict sends a clear message, I said into the forest of microphones. No one is above accountability, not even family. Miss Horton, the Foundation's new pediatric research initiative has already raised millions. Was this your response to your mother's crimes? Annabelle stepped forward. Every dollar stolen from sick children will be repaid threefold. That's our promise. Back at the Foundation, Sarah had arranged a staff meeting. The boardroom was packed. Researchers, administrators, grant coordinators, all waiting to hear what came next. The trial's over, I announced. Now we focus on what matters, the work. Dr. Reynolds' cancer study needs additional funding, someone called out. Approved, Annabelle said, checking her tablet, along with the stem cell research team and the rare disease initiative. But the budget is solid, I assured them. Every donation is now tracked in real time on our public database. Donors can see exactly where their money goes, down to the last cent. After the meeting, Jasper found me in my office. You haven't opened it yet. He nodded at the envelope on my desk, Mother's last attempt to communicate before sentencing. Nothing she says can change anything. Maybe not, but you might need to hear it anyway. I picked up the letter, Mother's precise handwriting stark against the prison stationery. Reagan, you think you've won? Perhaps you have. But everything I did was to secure our position, our influence. You'll understand someday when the weight of legacy bears down on you. Power requires sacrifice. Remember that. Mother. Annabelle appeared in the doorway as I crumpled the letter. Still trying to justify herself? Still trying to teach her lessons? I tossed the paper into the shredder. Speaking of which, the university called. They want us to give a guest lecture on ethical leadership. Us? Annabelle laughed. I'm not exactly professor material. No, you're better. You're living proof that people can choose integrity over advantage. The intercom buzzed. Sarah's voice carried through. The governor's here for the tour. We walked together through the foundation's halls, now bright with transparency, both literal and figurative. Glass walls had replaced solid ones, letting sunlight and scrutiny reach every corner. The governor waited in the lobby, surrounded by aides. Impressive changes, he said, gesturing at the digital displays showing real-time grant allocations and research progress. Very modern. Would you like to meet some of our researchers? I offered. Dr. Reynolds is about to test a promising new treatment protocol. Actually, he cleared his throat, I was hoping to discuss the Foundation's political connections. Your mother had certain arrangements. Those arrangements died with the old regime, Annabelle cut in smoothly. But we'd love to show you how your state's medical research grants are advancing critical studies. I hid my smile. Mother had taught us well about handling powerful people, just not the way she'd intended. Later, in the lab, Jasper showed us the latest results from the pediatric trials. This could change everything, he said, pointing to the data. With the new funding, we might have a breakthrough within months. Mother would have buried this, I realized. It didn't fit her profit model. Mother isn't here, Annabelle said firmly. We are, and we're doing it right. My phone buzzed. A text from Sarah. Reporter from Times requesting interview. Says it's about Mother's old network starting new foundation across state. I showed the message to Annabelle. Ready to fight another battle? Always, she grinned. But first, dinner? I'm starving. As we left the building, I caught our reflection in the glass doors. Two sisters, no longer in anyone's shadow. The Foundation's new logo shone above us. Truth heals. You know what Mother never understood? Annabelle said as we walked to the car. Real power isn't about control. It's about choice. And we choose to help people, I finished. The city lights sparkled around us, each one representing someone whose life our work might touch. Mother's legacy had been built on lies, but ours would be built on something stronger: truth, trust, and the courage to stand up for both. So, Jasper called from behind us, about that Times reporter. I exchanged looks with Annabelle. We both smiled. Another battle, another day. But this time we were fighting for something real, and that made all the difference.